Hey, Cardinals fans, welcome back to the Redbird Rundown presented by I-70 Sports, your home for all things St. Louis Cardinals. I'm Jonathan here with only Matt today. But before we get into it, we would love for you to share our Spotify and Apple links with your friends. We're really trying to grow this. We've really enjoyed doing it so far, so we hope that you'd push this out to your friends so they can enjoy it too. But today, we are recapping the past series, or the ones we are currently playing right now with the Bravos, giving our thoughts on the upcoming All-Star Week, previewing who the Cardinals might draft with the fifth pick. And let's hope that doesn't happen anymore. And we will share what we'll watch for heading into the next week, which is a whole lot of All-Star break talk. But before we get into the series recaps, we need to talk about our record last week and get to our vibe check. We are currently, and we're 2-2. So, Matt, 5 words or less, how do you feel about this last week of 500 baseball?
Oh, I think this is more than 5 words, but here it goes. What in the world is the trade deadline? Like
Yeah.
this is coming at the worst moment in the season as far as like, should we buy? Should we sell? Should we do this? Should we do that? And first of all, I think I should say this. I really
Yeah.
think it's kind of stupid to to decide what you're going to do at the trade deadline based on the last 3 weeks of games played doesn't make sense to me. I keep hearing all this talk about, well,
Mm-hmm.
let's roll Fetty back out there. Maybe he'll get some of his value back as a pitcher. Guys, these Major League Baseball teams are not stupid. This kind of talk right here strikes me as the same thing as spring training. Like this guy's he's gonna come out in spring training, he's gonna win this job, and we're gonna put the future of our franchise on 2 weeks of games. I don't really understand that. Is that stupid?
No, I think what you just said is like, isn't taking small sample sizes like the antithesis of
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like the last three weeks, hey, yeah, let's get Fetty, let's sneak him through here. The Dodgers are gonna be like, God, did you see his last start?
Yeah.
They got that figured out. Yeah, that's okay. I'll let the 5 words or less slide on that one.
I think it was 6 or 7, but
Yeah,
we're just muddled here. We're
yeah,
muddled, and I don't know what to do. How about you?
yeah. Mine is just get to the All-Star break. I feel
Yeah.
like we are. Do you know okay, so four-wheelers have this. Sometimes lawnmowers. It's called like limp home is what it is. Like you just
Okay.
literally like your device like just barely makes it, and I feel like we are in the limp home mode right now. Is
Okay.
guys getting banged up? Arenado is hurt. Willie looked like he tweaked something in his arm yesterday when he was playing. I don't know. It just the starting pitcher's starting to unravel a little bit. Just get to the All Star break. I know it's 3 or 4 days, but it feels like those guys need it because they look pretty gassed. I don't know. It just looks like we're just sputtering to the end here.
This is like the a school analogy would be like the last 3 weeks of May in school where everybody's looking around like, okay, yes, there's this assignment. Are we really going to do it? Yeah, it definitely has that feeling of we all need to go on a vacation for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into some of the games that happened here. So the
Sure.
National Series was kind of a consequential one, right? We just
Yes.
got our butts smoked by the Cubs. We
Yes.
come in game one. Sonny threw 5 strong ones, right? He looked really good. Now, there was
Hmm.
a 2-hour rain delay,
Hmm.
so I can't tell you how impressive that was from Sonny. Truly, like
Hmm.
a 2-hour rain delay after you're getting started, to him go out there and throw 5 good innings and us
Yes.
to rebound 4-2 was really important.
Did you see the report that he more or less took himself out, went to Ollie and said, I got nothing left? Because he'd
I
only
love
thrown
that.
70 pitches. Yeah. I
I'm
also
cool
kind
with
of
that.
think that that's right. That's the way that it should be. If you know that, and I know these guys are competitors and they're pros and stuff, but like get yourself out of there. Get somebody in who's fully ready to contribute to the team. I agree.
Yeah, I think there's somebody else we might talk about later who maybe needs to do that as well. Miles
Mm.
Michaelis. Yeah. All right, game two. Palante. This was such a Palante game. So
Mm.
he gives up 7 runs over 6 innings, and as we predicted, we couldn't figure out Mackenzie Gore, who destroyed us in an 8-2 loss. My overwhelming feelings after this were I didn't think Palante was that bad. I thought he gave up a 3-run home run that looked pretty bad. It was a bad pitch. It was an elevated knuckle curve, and the guy crushed it. But everything else was just a typical Palante kind of is erratic in his command. These are dink and doink hits. Some of them were hit hard, but I looked at his ERA at the end of the game, and I'm like, he gave up 7. I just
Yeah.
was kind of shocked.
Yeah, this is Palante though. This is why he's back end of the rotation
Yeah.
is his you know what I mean? Like he'll be there, he'll throw some innings. There'll be some stretches where he looks pretty good. He's getting good batted ball luck. He does get the ball on the ground a lot, right? All the things that we said about him all
Hmm.
season, but as far as him going forward, I for sure think he's in the rotation in 2026. And then after that, I don't know. It's going to depend on your Tekoa Robies and Quinn Matthews and maybe a trade deadline piece, something like that. He is certainly not a like franchise building piece.
No, and even at the best, at his best, performing at his best, he's not. And I still wonder if, I mean, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have strikeout stuff. I was going to say, I wonder if a bullpen presence is good for him, but what's it matter? You bring a guy in a high leverage situation to get a ground ball. That's never really going to work out the way you think it's going to work out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you about Palante on that as well. So game three, try to win the series. We really need to probably win this series. I put less stock into we need to beat the teams that are worse. I just think baseball is so random. You can come out and beat the Dodgers and lose to the Nationals, and there's no real explanation for it. Sometimes that just happens. But it was important that we come out and we don't just lay an egg like we did the night before. So Michaelis comes out. I didn't have a high level of confidence here. But he was good. I mean, I think he threw 5.2 innings, almost 6 innings, and didn't give up a run. The offense came out and really showed out, and 8-1 to win is what it was. I see you have a comment here. Was he tipping pitches in Chicago? What do you think about that?
I saw some of that stuff online, some chatter, and that comes from the fact that he just got walloped in his first 3 innings in Chicago, and then the last 3 he settled down and he figured it out. And so there was some thought that he could have been tipping some pitches. And Miles Michaelis has been one of the worst starters in Major League Baseball for the last 3 years. If you just go look statistically, it's been a really, really, really bad run for him. But this year, I think he has been marred by a few catastrophically bad starts. And the rest of them have been at least okay-ish, right? Like this last one against the Nationals. Granted, it's the Nationals, 5 2/3. That's good job, as far as that goes. So well, let me just ask you this, because there's this whole Michaelis and Fetty thing, and this is not on a rundown, really, to spend time on this episode.
Yeah.
If you're going to pull one of these guys for McGreevy, which of the two are you pulling?
My gut tells me
they've both been terrible, right?
My gut tells me I don't like just paying Michaelis $17 million because we're paying him to run him out there. I feel like that's just dumb. Just at the core of it, that's dumb. Who cares if you're paying him? These innings are terrible, right? But if you look at the entire season, Michaelis has been better. His ERA maybe doesn't say it, but I think he's been consistently better than
I do too.
And Fetty.
Yeah.
Fetty, though, if they want to trade him, I think that they still could. But I just care less about trading and releasing. Just get somebody in there who can throw some quality innings. And I think Michaelis, when he's better, he looks better. Fetty recently has just looked maybe the worst pitcher I've ever seen. It's just bad. And I will say one thing about Michaelis, though, that kind of drives me nuts, amongst many things about him that drives me nuts. He always says, I should have been making adjustments. And that's like a typical thing a pitcher says.
Sure.
But and he said that every time, I can't be mad if people are upset with me. I should have made adjustments. I'm glad I was able to eat some innings for the bullpen. It's like blah, blah, blah. You're throwing pitches down the middle. What's the adjustment? I understand that they may be tipped, pitches might be tipped, and that's really, a tough thing to overcome, but you're throwing it down the middle. Just don't throw it down the middle. Even if you throw it 92 and it's on the bottom corner, okay, at least they got to try to hit it out. Down the middle, this is like meatball batting practice stuff.
Well, this is just classic John Mozeliak stuff, though. He's doubled down multiple times on Michaelis. Now, Michaelis has had some good years for us. He has had all-star years for us. He's had legit years. Now it's been 5 or 6 years ago, but he's had legit years where you're like, okay, that we're winning. You know what I mean? Like Wainwright is our best pitcher, and Michaelis is a legitimate number 2. He's good, right? But it has not been that way for quite a while, and I think this is Mo just backing himself into these corners, and he's done the same thing with Fetty, and now we got to try to get value out of Fetty. And I've also seen all this stuff online recently about Ollie can't come right out and say it, but I think Ollie would like McGreevy to be in there and would like Fetty to come out of the rotation. But I feel like what happened is maybe this is one of those philosophical differences that got shilt to boot, that Mo's like, no, this is what we're going to do. And and Ollie just kind of has to ride with that. But he's the one that's got to stand there in the post game after Fetty gets blown up. Mo doesn't have to say that.
I feel really bad for Ollie, and I feel like we've echoed that quite a bit on this, that he's got his hands tied. And you know how we've talked about this runway garbage?
Yeah.
right? And I know we're really talking about Walker and Gorman and maybe even New or some of these guys that are here. But why aren't we giving McGreevy or maybe even some of these other guys in AAA a longer look in the rotation? What is Michaelis doing? He's got a north of 5 ERA. Like, what are we doing? Again, and that's what leads me back to this point. We're paying him 17.5 million. Who cares? You're paying McGreevy $30 in compared to that salary. Michaelis ain't gonna show you anything else. We don't need him to eat innings. Just that's it. I don't know. That's where this gets really hard for me. Is I think just ultimately I'm so ready to move on from Michaelis, Fetty, Mo, just all of it. Just let's just move on from this and
The
start a new
stated
chapter.
point of the whole season, though, is runway, and the
I
guy that
know.
fits that is McGreevy. What I get a little bit worried about, though, is for McGreevy, this guy he's not an ace. He
No,
does
he's not.
not have swing and miss stuff. He's probably more in the mode of like a Palante. Now he has come up, and every time he's performed at the big league level, he's performed extremely well. But I just got news for everybody. He's not Paul Skeens. He's
No.
not going to pitch like Paul Skeens, and he's gotten like pretty good results so far. But there's going to be some come back to earth on him
Oh,
too.
sure.
I mean, really, what I think McGreevy is I think he's a younger version of Michaelis and Fetty. He's that same kind of weak contact sort of
Hmm.
pitcher that we keep developing. And so, yes, I would rather see McGreevy because I would rather see him develop and see
Yeah.
if maybe he can make some adjustments at the big league level. But he's not like the messiah for the rotation either. So,
No, he's not, and that's a very good point. But I'll tell you this: I would rather see that than
yes,
the eighth year of
yes,
Michaelis doing this. And it's like, well, we
correct.
got to close this chapter at some point because one thing that McGreevy doesn't do is walk people.
True,
And I know you could say the
true.
same for Michaelis, but McGreevy doesn't walk people, and he has been effective, right? It is
Hmm.
going to come back down to earth. But if he's sitting in the mid threes, low fours, I'd like to tell you that's still a billion
Yes,
times better than either of these guys.
yes, exactly,
So
exactly.
runway or not. All right, I'm tired of talking about Michaelis. All right, the Braves, the Braves. So we had our first game last night. It was a very exciting game. I know we lost, but Libby, his command was all over the place, which has been a problem the last couple games. He's walked a ton of people. Um, who's their catcher? They traded for the Braves, traded for the at the
Sean
eight.
Murphy.
Just crushed 2 home runs off of him. Two
Yep.
longest home runs at Busch Stadium this year was in that game last night.
Yep.
Um, horribly placed pitches, sliders up. He doesn't have the command right now. So that I think is a fixable thing. So I'm not worried about Libby. I'm really not.
Mm.
I think that 5 walks in the last couple games, like each game, had just turned into a couple of Sean Murphy home runs, and that's just the way it is. The offense looked pretty good. We came back,
Hmm.
we scored, we chipped away. But I'll tell you, the takeaway from the 6-5 loss is the bullpen. Swanson and Robb,
Yep,
that's Riley O'Brien for all you folks at home, just looked awesome yesterday.
they did. And they
I was
both did.
extremely happy
And
to see
and
that.
again, this is like some more of this roster churn, ride the train to Memphis. Just keep doing this. Just
Mhm.
keep finding these guys that have like one really good pitch or maybe a couple good pitches. Just keep finding these guys. And I guarantee you they're all over the place in the minors and they're
Yeah.
failed starters and they're this and they're that. But yeah, that was big. Victor Scott getting picked off first base was also a big, bad mistake on his part. And
That was sad.
I'm a little. I'm going to express some concern about Libby going forward after the
Oh,
second half.
okay.
He has not thrown this many innings, hardly ever in his career.
That's true.
He's made 17 starts going forward, and so I'll just predict if we get a second half slump from Libby, it could be in part because of the workload, but I don't necessarily. I think we have seen enough from him to know
Mhm.
this is a guy going forward that is a tier above Palante. He's a tier above McGreevy. He's probably not quite in the Sunny tier, but
Right
he's
below, I
had
think.
stretches where he was, you
Yeah.
know. So this is a guy that you definitely need to stick with, and just
Yeah.
an eye out there for the fans. This is a big deal. He's going to be getting into innings pitched that he's never done in his life before, let
Yeah.
alone in the big leagues.
Yeah. I think you're right to highlight a little bit of regression from that. And the command issues I'm talking about earlier could very well be that.
It could be part of some fatigue. Yeah.
I mean, he got taken out, I don't know, 4 or 5 starts ago for fatigue.
Yes.
His fastball was sitting like, basically what we were throwing in the cage when we went there. uh, yeah, and I think to your point about the train going back and forth to Memphis for the relievers, guess what? Matt Swanson and Riley O'Brien are kind of sticking. You
Yeah.
don't see this churn right now. It's like,
Nope.
whoa, these guys have actually stuck here. You thought it was going to be Roycroft. Well, you thought it was going to be Ryan Fernandez. It's actually these two guys.
Correct.
So I love that approach. I hope Heim going forward never changes it. I hope we
Yes.
just keep doing this.
Yes. I'm ascribing all of this to him,
Yeah.
even if he's not any part of it at all.
Yep. Yeah. So, uh, game 2 and 3, we're playing game 2 today this afternoon, and it's an afternoon game on Sunday. Fetty is starting tonight. No idea what we're gonna get. I really hope it's not as depressing as that ESPN game where he just looked like he was gonna cry. He had no command. He was so unconfident in his stuff.
Yep.
That was bad. And then, of course, Sonny. We hope to see him finish it out. Now, listen. Should we beat the Braves? Yes,
Yes.
but their record does not indicate how good that they are. I don't believe their pitching's kind of been meh all over the place. But I've really enjoyed watching Acuna last night. Every time he
hmm
comes up, you just think he's going to hit a rocket, and he kind of
hmm
did every time.
hmm
So anyway, we'll see what happens the rest of the Braves series, which will lead us in to the All-Star break, which is a nice transition to our question and our discussion this week about the All-Star weekend. Let's start kind of from the beginning. It's 4 days. The guys get 4 days off. Monday is the home run derby. Tuesday's the game. Then everybody gets Wednesday, Thursday off, and then all of Major League starts back up for the second half on Friday. So let's start at the beginning of this. The voting process for the All-Stars. I'll break it down for you real quick. The initial vote is fan-driven. All the fans in Major League Baseball, you can go on, you can submit your application or your form and say who you want to be a part of the All-Star team. The problem with that here, I'll just start breaking into this, is that there were like 6 Dodgers on this, right? The popular teams, the fans just, there's more fans, so that makes sense that you didn't see like 6 Marlins players, right?
Yes, correct.
Right. So just overall, just that first process there, that first step is just the fans. The second step, the fans get to narrow it down after the top 2 vote getters, right? Well, the problem is there's still like 6 Dodgers on that list. So what do you think about this? Do you think this, do you like the way this works? Do you like this fan voting stuff?
I think this is more or less fine. I think that the All-Star team more or less reflects who it actually should be. I guess there are 2 caveats with that. One is St. Louis doesn't vote. That's very weird to me because St. Louis has, this reputation as the best fans in baseball and all the things. And obviously, folks are not attending the games this year because, I mean, any game you want to look at, there are just seats
Empty.
all over Busch, and it's the craziest thing to see. But beyond that, I understand the frustration with that. This has been a trend now for several years that St. Louis does not mobilize the vote, and it's not a huge market.
No.
But then on the other hand, you always see this stuff that like Cardinals games get the highest TV rating within their market. And so you would I don't know what the disconnect there is because there's such a passionate fan base most years, and they watch the games so faithfully, and it's such a wide area that it's much more than just the St. Louis area. It's where I live. There's there's Cardinals fans everywhere. We've told stories about my Cardinal Jack on vacation everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I guess I just don't understand the mobilization. But on the other hand, isn't this what this is about? It's about the fans, right? I mean, they should be able to say what they think about the game.
It is. I just think selfishly when I see 6 Dodgers on there or 5 Yankees on there, like I'm only saying the Dodgers because I'm more in tune with the NL, right?
Sure.
So like when you break it down to the 2 finalists for shortstop, it was Mookie Betts and Francisco Lindor. Well, I could name you 3 shortstops off the top of my head that are better than Mookie, and one of them is Mason Wynn, and he hasn't been anything wild. He's been very consistent, right? But Lindor obviously won because he's better. Now he's still a New York guy. I just wonder if there should be a maximum from each team. Right. So let's say instead of the Dodgers having 6 people, it's 3. Not because it's that some of their players don't deserve to go. It's just there are other teams that maybe should be represented than just one guy. Right? And maybe the Dodgers not having 6 could help that.
Well, they're doing this thing too now where there's like a roster spot for the legend on his way out. Kershaw's there this year.
That's nice.
And I'm not saying that Kershaw's not still a above average pitcher, but I think we can identify pitchers, including maybe one in the St. Louis rotation, that should probably be there over Kershaw just based on the body of work for the whole year. And I think that to me, that kind of started with Albert in St. Louis.
It 100% did.
And I know that we benefited with that. And plus, Albert that last year actually hit like an all-star after
he might have been on there anyway. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's what we should be doing. Like, we should be rewarding the players who are really good this year. Like, for instance, now this is a New York guy, and this is not going to be super popular, but like Juan Soto's not on the All-Star team. He has an OPS over 900. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, he remains one of the best hitters in the game. He's not on the team.
Well, why doesn't that legend thing just not take a quote roster spot? Just let him sit there. If okay, why do we care if there's only 26 guys? I mean, really, why do we care?
Yeah.
Could there
Yeah.
be 30?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not like all these pitchers are going to pitch anyway. So, yeah, when I saw that initially and I didn't know it was a Legends pick, I'm like, Sonny Gray got left off for Kershaw? And that's just
Well,
me being selfish because I think
they
Sonny's been great.
they just put Jacob Mizorowski on there, which cool. I mean, great.
Yeah, yeah.
He's thrown 5 games. Let me give you a pitcher who has more innings and a lower ERA, Phil Maton. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like Phil
yes.
Maton doesn't have the counting stats for the saves, but he has been a more effective pitcher for more innings than Jacob Mizorowski. And again, I understand like you want to forecast or you want to showcase your youngest players, your most
Yeah, yeah,
exciting
yeah.
players. I do think that's smart. But again, the bulk of the team to me is who it should be. And so if there's three or
Yeah,
four roster spots around the fringes of 50 guys going to the game, going to raise too big of an issue because
yeah.
this is actually the question I was going to ask you. Do you care about the All-Star game?
Yeah, kinda. I thought it was fun to watch last year, but I wasn't really able to watch it the proper way.
Okay.
I think that of all of the major sports, I think that the NHL has the best one. They just changed this. The Four Nations face-off thing that they did
Hmm.
is Canada, US, Finland, and Sweden was actually like legitimately cool. And they all went really hard, which
Hmm.
was interesting because you don't see that. That's the knock on the All-Star game for the NBA. The NFL is like, what are we really even doing
The
right now?
NFL canceled theirs. They don't
Yeah,
have the Pro
it's just
Bowl.
the
They do like a
games.
flag football thing.
Oh, really? They're not even
Yeah.
doing like the let's hit the
No,
trash can while it's moving or whatever.
I don't think so.
Okay. So my point is it's not a bad product. You can go out and kind of quote try hard in the All-Star game and you're not going to hurt yourself because a pitcher's going to pitch 2 innings. That's like a bullpen anyway.
Hmm.
Right? It's not like you're going to overexert yourself and like in the NBA LeBron's going to hurt himself when the back half of the year is right around the corner. Like it's
Right.
just not as physical. So I think it is a pretty good game. I think you can have something competitive. So yeah, I think I'd be interested in it if I could watch it easier. There's no way to really
Mm.
watch it. It's on Fox. Nobody has cable. Nobody uses this stuff. So there's no real good way to watch it. Do you
Hmm.
care about it?
I don't too much. And I wrote down some reasons why. I mean, number one, there's been very little Cardinal representation the past few years. We've not had
Yeah,
like strong all-star candidates. And I
yeah,
love Brendan Donovan, but Brendan Donovan he's not like a perennial all-star. You know what I mean? He's had really good years, a really nice
yeah,
player, but he's
yeah,
not a guy. And
yeah.
maybe it's just because I grew up with Pujols just, being the centerpiece of the all-star game every year.
Yeah.
I've kind of lost some interest in it. I do think the players try fairly well in the MLB
I do.
because, like you said, you're not just going to go up there and hit. And, so as far as that goes, I think it's relatively competitive. I just wonder if there's this, and I think you highlighted it. Baseball is just stuck in this old model that it just can't get out of.
Yeah.
We're still on these networks that are somewhat difficult. We can't quite like get ourselves to the streaming era. We can't get in front of faces the way that we need to get in front of faces. And I just that coupled with what I think baseball is now is like a regional sport.
Yeah.
I obviously spend way more time on the Cardinals than anything else. And I like baseball, but I'm not tuning in to games besides Cardinal games, really.
Right.
And so I don't know. I just think this is going to have limited appeal. And for all these leagues that are always messing with the format of their All-Star game all the time, I kind of think I more or less have to think you have to like ride with the traditions that got you there. And I don't really
Hmm.
want to see baseball doing a whole bunch of weird stuff to their All-Star games. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think it's in a pretty good state. Like the home run derby is kind of like a cultural thing. Like people
It
know
is.
what that is. Like
They
whenever I
do.
think of the home run derby, I think of Griffey with the hat backwards
Yes.
hitting nukes,
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
think it's a really interesting thing. This is my one comment about the home run derby. I wish they forced their stars to do it. I wish
Mm.
they'd force Judge, Otani, Schwarber. Like it's batting practice out there. Like it's barely low risk for these guys. Like
Yeah.
the fever dream for NBA fans is to back in the day prime LeBron doing the dunk contest. Well,
Yeah.
these guys, for whatever reason, whether it's feasible or not, they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to lose. They don't want something like that to happen. It's kind of an image thing. I feel like. Where
Hmm.
here, it's like it's baseball, man. Like you're just taking batting practice. If Judge doesn't win, who cares? You got Judge, Schwarber, Otani. These guys are going to hit a ton of home runs. That's the stars. Those are the guys that would make it really exciting. And that's nothing against O'Neal Cruz or any of these other guys. It's just like those are your dudes. You need to put your dudes out there. is a low risk for injury. You're just taking batting practice essentially.
That's a great
Again,
point.
it just comes down to I'm a baseball fan. I'd watch the home run derby, and I can't.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it. I
Exactly.
can't watch it.
The home run derby is something that they keep messing with the format of,
Mm-hmm.
and I never know every year, okay, are we doing outs? Are we doing like
Time.
one versus one? Is it a time thing? Is there a gold ball? Is there like they
Yeah.
just keep messing with it? I think to try to like cash in on it strikes me a little bit as like the NBA in-season tournament. We're going to paint the courts to get some
Yeah.
conversation going, which is that's kind of fun. I don't really mind that at all. But again, I think you should stop. I think you should pick a format and just do it. And I think your suggestion of I don't even know if they can contractually do this, requiring your best 10 home run hitters in the game, that is what's going to get it. Not a gold ball, not timing, not anything like that. The biggest names is what's going to get it.
I totally agree. And I almost wonder if this is something I was thinking about the other day. What if they made like a pitcher do it? Or something dumb. Like
Okay.
like how
Hmm.
Wayno like was a good hitter.
Hmm.
Yeah, there are some like who's the guy that pitched all those innings for the Giants? Bumgarner. Bumgarner can hit,
Yep.
right? Like, wouldn't it be hilarious to see some like it's like, oh, I wonder how well he could actually do it. It's like, see, pitchers can hit, you know?
Yeah.
It's just something to get them to do it. But that's interesting. Like and if there's 8 participants, it's the top 8 home run leaders in each league, right? Or like top 4 in each league, and there you go. That's it.
This is an old idea too, and this is something I've thought about before. You probably can't do this. I just wonder what it will look like if they had metal bats.
Oh my gosh, I
But I think as far
you'd
as
kill
like,
somebody.
I know you'd probably have to clear the stands out there.
Yeah.
But as far as like spectacle, and I mean,
Mm.
there may be guys that legitimately like hit the ball out of stadiums that it's never been hit out of before, and I think that would be really interesting.
I would love to know the science behind it because O'Neal Cruz has hit a couple 122 mile an hour or more.
Yeah.
That's like, what is that, 20 or 30 more on a metal bat? Like, can you imagine a ball coming at you at 150 miles an hour?
Oh man, like I said, you'd have to clear the stands out there,
Those balls
and
would be warped. Like, are you
that
kidding?
yes, that would take away from it. But like
Yeah.
just for instance, in O'Neal Cruz's home park of Pittsburgh, I mean, they
Oh,
just would be peppering that river out there, left-handed hitters,
yeah, it might
and
hit
I just think that
Philadelphia.
would be fun. I really do. I do.
I do. And I think if I'm the MLB, you feel pretty good as opposed to the other 4 sports. Like, our product's not that bad. Like, it's really
Yeah.
not bad. Now, one thing I do want to highlight here as we wrap this up is they're going to be using the automatic balls and strikes in the game.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you are a fan, you watch this, and you're going to see pitchers and hitters challenge the play, the pitch. Is it a ball, a strike? So that's going to come in the MLB, and I can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
Um,
This is Lars Nootbaar Hall of Fame turn right here. This is where it happens.
I hope that there's a level of pettiness with this that just exceeds all expectations. Because if you win the challenge, you get another one.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Yeah.
100% going to see 4 pitch walks because there's been a challenge 4 times, and I
Yes.
cannot wait for that.
Yes. 100%. I also think just think about guys who would have benefited from this. I'm not sure
Mm,
Joey Votto ever would have gotten out. You know what I mean? Like just an incredible batting eye, and I'm sure that he got run like the Matt Carpenters, the Joey Vottos, all
yes.
those guys. And again, the one thing I'll say against the ABS system is it's almost like you're gamifying things
A
to
little
an
bit.
extreme. You know, the purpose is to hit the ball. The purpose is not to draw a walk.
Yeah.
That has grown in importance as people have figured out the math of it. And I got no problem with it. We've got
Mm.
guys that draw walks all the time. But again, it's that gamification of it. I'm not totally sure that's great.
As long as it is, I agree with you. As long as it is quick, just make it
Yes.
quick, okay?
Yes, for
And
sure.
there's a limited amount. Let's say you get 2 a game, and let's say you burn through them both, you can't do it anymore,
Yeah.
right? As long
Yeah.
as it's quick, because I can't stand the regular replay play system
Oh,
because every single bang bang play,
it's almost always wrong.
it's always wrong, and it takes 2 minutes.
Yes,
It's like,
it
what
really
are we
does.
doing? Like, it doesn't matter. We'll be on a text thread. 100% he's safe. The call in the field stands. He's out. It's like, clearly everybody in 6 counties knows what happened, and they can't
Yep.
get it right. It's
Yep.
unbelievable.
Yep. It's frustrating.
So yeah, I'd love to watch the game. Don't know if I will be able to. So we'll see. All right. The MLB draft is also the same week, which I think is good and bad, right? You kind of have it all at one time.
Sure.
I don't remember if they did this at a different time. I don't know if this is new, but anyway, it's at the same time, the same week. We get to draft number 5. So last year we drafted number 7, which is the highest we had in a long time. We got JJ Weatherholt, who appears to be the realest of deals. Just real quick
Yes.
before we get into this, I was reading on The Athletic, the Futures game, JJ Weatherholt, that's another part of All-Star Weekend is the Futures
hmm
game. He is
hmm
going to be our representative, and he's going to be playing there. And if you are curious, Mason Wynn has played in this game. There's other higher prospects that have played
Quinn
in this game.
Matthews has pitched. Quinn Matthews pitched last year. Yeah.
Right. So there was a ranking of this is on The Athletic of who they were most excited to see, and Weatherholt was number 2. They said
Mm.
that they thought he was the purest hitter in the draft last year, that he looks like a quick rise to the major leagues. I'm thinking, just literally let me read that 2 or 3 more times again,
Yeah.
because the fact that we can get fired up about an offensive prospect that might actually pan out is kind of exciting. So we got him at number 7 last year. We're drafting 2 ahead at number 5.
hmm
It's interesting. I've been reading stuff about this across several different platforms, and it appears there's no consensus top pick this year. Like
Okay.
in years past, it was
Right.
Skeens or Dylan Cruz, that kind of like level of
hmm
prospect. So there's 5 names. I read an article from The Athletic with Keith Law, who's like the draft guru, right? And our friend Katie Wu breaking down, hey, at number 5, who might be available. So I'll roll through some of these names here, and then we'll just chat about it and see what do we think our direction of the draft should be. So Eli Wiltis is his name. He's in high school. He's a shortstop, utility infielder. They say he's a great defender, makes good contact, and he's the best shortstop talent of the class. Another high school guy, which is crazy to think about getting drafted that high out of high school. Like,
It
my
is.
gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liam Doyle is a left-handed pitcher from Tennessee. Throws extremely hard. He throws his fastball, I think I read, like almost 60% of the time, and nobody hits it. It's his weird delivery and arm slot, which is something I feel like is more common anymore, is
hmm
that guys are coming with these like three-quarter angles or just hiding the ball more. That's got to
Deceptive.
be
Yeah.
that's got to be purposeful. He's a lefty out of Tennessee. Jamie Arnold, a left-handed pitcher from Florida State, same idea. He throws really hard, a weird arm slot, and he struck out a ton of guys in college. Kyson Witherspoon, he's a right-handed pitcher from Oklahoma. This is the first guy that I read that actually had a mix of pitches, five mixed pitch. He has a nasty changeup that plays really well off the rest of his stuff, and he's probably the best right-handed pitcher available. And then the last name we'll run through is Matt Holliday's youngest son, Ethan Holliday, who's a shortstop, third base infielder type of player, has the highest like power upside. He's not as good as a hitter as his brother Jackson, who's currently playing for the Orioles, but has way more power. It's just the problem is he sometimes he sells out, and you can see there's some tendencies to do that he'll probably have to clean up. But again, he's a high schooler too. So of all those names that I read, Matt, what do you think about any of those standing out to you? Do you think we should take one of those above anything else? Do you have other thoughts about the draft?
I'm gonna give one more, and it's a college bat. His name is Ike Irish, and
That's a
he's
cool name.
never up. He's never up in like the pick 1, 2, 3 in any of these mocks I've been seeing. But he might be a little cheaper for the the bonus slot that we'd have to pay, and that's probably not worth getting into on this podcast. We're not a draft podcast, but there's some strategy to that sometimes, because there are guys that say like in high school, but they have a college promise to them, or they are
Yeah.
baseball players, but they also have a football scholarship, and sometimes you have to overpay to get them to join your organization. But he is an outfielder and catcher, which we could just strike the catcher off for our organization,
Yeah, seriously.
and is probably the best college bat.
Hmm.
As far as my overall things, what I want them to do here is I want them to draft a superstar.
Sure. Go
And
ahead.
I don't care really positionally who that is. The Eli Willits kid that you just said, with like the defense being such part of his calling card, I'll be honest with you, that is one of the least appealing options to me, simply because I really don't think Mason Wynn is going anywhere at shortstop.
Nope.
And now, the one thing about the MLB draft is there is such a long lead time. This is not the NBA draft. This is not the NFL draft where you're going to see
Right.
the guy next year and he's going to make a meaningful difference to your team. We're talking about what do you think? 2027, 2028,
Yeah, I mean,
2029,
yeah, yep.
yeah, out. So I'm not, if we draft the shortstop out of high school, I'm not going to like rage, and start a bonfire. But that's the one guy I wasn't quite as excited about. Is that what you're
Yeah,
tracking
that's
and
what
thinking? Or are
everybody.
you-
When I say everybody, all the people I've read predict that we take the Willits kid because he's the best talent there. That's what they think. That's what these evaluators think. I think something else we
Sure.
don't talk about and think about enough is that each team has just a different set of evaluating factors.
They do.
So they may look at this and think, we want a pitcher. Let's take him because we think he's the best talent. That is just what I want to do. You said that, draft a stud, draft a star. Just draft the best talent.
Yes,
If the
I think so
best
too.
talent is this dude at shortstop, you can trade that asset. You can, who knows what's going to happen? Can this kid play in the outfield? Who knows, right? At any point, just draft them. That's what they did with Weatherholt. Weatherholt was the best on the board, and they drafted him, and look where we're at. I've seen people saying, draft pitching, we need pitching, and that's evidently true, right? Very true. But if that's not the best talent, I always am going to say go for the best talent. You might get burned at the stake for that, but I really think that's the best strategy no matter what.
I think so too. I do think it would be fun to get one of these flamethrowing college lefties because here's the difference to me. When you're picking a pitcher this high up, he's going to have strikeout upside that we do not have anywhere in our organization. And we also are, there's no like, I'm not seeing anybody say this draft has like a thunder bat at the top of it. Ethan
True.
Holiday, maybe, but he seems a little scary to me as far as being a high schooler and having some swing and miss. And although there are obvious, interesting, and good connections with the Cardinals franchise. I think we probably should say too, the Rockies pick right before us at 4. There are some obvious connections there with Matt Holliday and the Rockies too. That's where he started his career. So I doubt he gets to us if that is the case. But it would be really fun to have like probably not Paul Skeens, but have that type of pitcher come through our system where it's not another, we drafted 20th, it's Michael McGreevy. Yep, he's got some contact in his profile. You know what I mean? Like I'd like to get away from that some, and having one of these stud lefties would be a lot of fun, I think.
Well, and that's what the difference between drafting Michael McGreevy 22nd versus drafting 5th. And
Correct.
Here's the other thing too. When you draft in the top 10, the guy typically goes straight to AA if he's a college talent. Okay. That's the general rule of thumb that I have read, and that's what Weatherholt did. They assigned. I know later on, like after the draft, he played in Palm Beach only to just get his feet wet. But he really, his first real year, he started in AA, and now he's in AAA. That's what happened to that Jack Caglione, Chase Burns. If you're a high draft pick, there's a good chance you're getting rushed up a little bit faster, and that's even more so if you're a pitcher, right? I think Skeens literally could have just been drafted and like the next week joined the team wherever Pittsburgh was, and he would have been fine.
Yep.
So pitchers have a different timeline. So I agree with you. If something happens and that is the best talent or they want to do that, I'm not going to be like, upset because I don't know that you put this Willits kid in AA. He's like 18, right? That's different. High school talent, it takes them a little bit longer. You're playing the long game. The San Diego Padres, that's what they do. They always draft high school kids. They have this long lead time because they're probably going to get traded anyway if you know that organization.
Yes.
For us, though, like if you draft Doyle or Arnold or any of these guys, they're going to end up in Springfield AA, and they're going to be striking dudes out, and that's when you're going to hear like Michaelis who? Like, what are we doing? Or whatever, right? It's like we have these guys. So, yeah, it would be super exciting. I just want them to take the best talent they can. I don't care what it is.
Correct.
I trust Randy Flores. He has done really well. We have found these guys later on in the draft, so I trust this. And a number 5 pick is kind of no joke.
Oh, we need to hit it. That was my last real thought. It appears as though, and I can't really judge this all the way, but it really appears as though they hit the JJ Weatherholt pick big time last year. They really hit it. Yeah. And when you're a Cardinals franchise that never does this, now we've done it back to back 2 years in a row, but hopefully this is it. And there are some pretty stringent rules about how many times you can pick up this high in the draft. The MLB's really changed some of that stuff to try to get away from tanking. But you got to really nail this pick. And again, we're not going to know on draft day. We're probably not going to know in 2026. We may not know in 2027 if we've nailed the pick. That's the hard thing about the MLB draft and why you probably don't see people get as excited about this as they do the NBA or the NFL because it's instant gratification with your prospect. I am going to close out this episode before we start looking at what to watch for in the next week. Although I guess it's just not watching the All-Star game.
That's correct.
I trade deadline.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Please.
I think JJ Weatherholt makes Brendan Donovan tradable.
Oh, that's quite a bomb to drop at the end here.
It is. I think that JJ Weatherholt profiles as a better Brendan Donovan is what I think. And I I wonder if we should take Donnie at the peak of his value and try to extract something that our roster doesn't have when we have a Donovan better clone sitting in Memphis right now.
Stop making sense over there, will you? I don't. I mean, yeah. Yes, yes. I think that we have. If you look back in the history of our franchise, we have been caught holding the bag too long.
Yeah,
But you could go back and name many guys, and this is really easy to do. Hindsight 2020. That's why that's
sure,
just saying. Very
sure.
easy to look back and think, oh, we should have traded, David Freese off the top of my head.
Right.
He was at the peak of his powers. We could have traded him and gotten a haul, I'm sure, and he petered out. Right. I don't think Donnie's going to peter out, but this is Donnie's peak. This is it right here. You may never see him reach this ever again. Um, the other thing I think too is he's starting to play third base a little bit. They're going to try and play him in third base. I don't hate that immediately. I don't hate that for now. I think that we are going to see now that he's in AAA, and this is a very few games here for JJ. He's actually
Hmm.
succeeding. Like he's doing something there. He doesn't look
Hmm.
overmatched for AAA.
No.
You're going to hear the pressure now.
September.
You're going to hear it. He's not on the 40 man, but that's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
To see him, you're going to see it because he looked comfortable. His batting average was terrible in spring, but he did not look overmatched. He was ready. So I think you're right. Whether it's Donnie, I just think it makes it easier to get rid of this infield logjam of Burley, or I'm sorry, not Burley, Gorman, or I don't want to say JC. He's too young, but Donnie moving around. This is just going to put the pressure on those guys because I think he is real, and we don't have very much that's real right now. So we need to see him.
Well, that's what I was driving at, is if you can pick a star at number 5, it
Yeah.
kind of changes the whole outlook of your whole franchise because it really lets you know, like, we cannot be blocking JJ Weatherholt. He's got to get up. He's going to be our leadoff hitter, and he's never going to hit 40 home runs, but I mean, he's going to be a great leadoff hitter. I really believe he's going to be a great leadoff hitter for a long time, like a quintessential
Yep.
get on base, high average, has some pop, driving some run, like a very good number 1 hitter for a very long time. And so if you can get something akin to that here at number 5, it really changes your whole franchise.
And you're not going to see them blackball JJ down there in AAA. He's a high draft pick. They're not going to play around with him. Like they're going to bring him up one way or the other. You see this churn with, like, oh, have you seen, I don't know, just off the top of my head, like Matt Koperniak, he's been hitting really well down there. Or Cesar Prieto, he's been hitting pretty well down there. Well, these guys are like low draft picks. They clearly don't project to continue that success at the major league level. And that's no offense to those guys, but Weatherholt is the real deal. They're not going to play the same song and dance with somebody like that. And especially with this number 5 pick. If we draft one of these,
Right.
Flamethrowers,
Right.
what's the point? What's he going to sit down there in AAA for 7 years like McGreevy, like Graceffo? You have to bring him up.
No, the only caveat to that is I guarantee you they keep his rookie eligibility for next year because he would be a strong contender for rookie of the year and we'll get extra draft picks if he wins. So I promise you, if we see JJ Weatherholt in 2025, he is not going to exceed the rookie limitations.
Yeah, this is where if I was on the show, I would just be doing everything possible to get him up there. But just because you got to see it.
Yeah.
And I think realistically, if we fall out of contention, you will see him somehow, some way.
September
Arenado
maybe,
will
but
have
it's
some
not
kind of
going to be.
something.
There's some at-bat threshold, and I
It is.
promise you he will not be taking more than those.
I think it's 120. Wynn did this in his first year. They stopped him at like 117 because they wanted
Correct.
him to do that. So
Yep,
I think Cardinals fans, he looks very exciting, very promising, and we have not
he
seen
really
that
does.
in some time.
Yep.
Real quick, it's the All-Star break next week. We're gonna take a little reset. We do play the Diamondbacks into the Rockies. Is there anything after the All-Star break in that first week? Are you looking for anything specific? I have one thing, but are you looking for anything?
I have 2. One is Ivan Herrera is going to be back or right at it, and the offense is completely transformed with Herrera's bat in there, and we need that bad. And if we're going to make a second half push, or to me, even stupider, a 2 weeks before the trade deadline push to set the definition for our entire franchise going forward, like we need Ivan Herrera's bat in there. And then number 2, Jordan Walker's right there too. And I don't know if you've seen these reports. They are slow walking Jordan Walker's time in the minor leagues. He's in Springfield because for whatever reason, Springfield has the best hitting facilities and our minors, and they are working on his mental game and his swing.
Oh boy.
The second half of this season is Jordan Walker's opportunity to continue to be a Cardinal and continue to have plot armor. And so again, every time he's in the lineup, I'm going to be watching.
Yep. The only name I want to add to that, which is the one you didn't mention, and I'm focused on, is Newt. Newt is
Okay.
slowly sliding into this. He's not concrete going forward for me. I
Yep.
know that might be heresy, but like I don't know. Can he turn it around in the second half here? Can he turn it around? I know we're looking at just the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, those series coming up, but he's been pretty bad for a really long time here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is he one of these names like Gorman, Walker?
Mm-hmm.
Who's getting saved? That's a whole segment in and of itself, is who's getting saved, and Heim is going to have a heck of a time deciding. But
We've got a whole offseason to talk all that, but you are
oh
right
man,
because here's the deal. Ivan Herrera is going to have an outfielder's glove at some point.
yes he is.
He's going to play because he hits.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we can't. I mean, Burley. What are you going to do with him? He's the best hitter on our team. I hate to say it, but the guy is. I mean, okay, minus Ivan. Okay, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Burley's got a Ivan. I still think we need to see it more from him. You know what I mean? Like he
yeah,
needs to sustain this. He's been like a short sample size champion. Now, granted, it's been like three small sample sizes, but yeah, we need to see it sustain. He's done it for a little bit now. He has.
we just have such a weird team. I don't know if I feel like uniquely weird about this. Like, do all teams feel like they struggle with this? But I just feel like we have a million names and I have no idea what to do.
We have a whole roster of like 6 men of the year in the NBA. That's exactly what we have.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know what to do, but we're not going to figure out this time. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Redbird Rundown. Go-to source for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Subscribe, rate, review the show to help us grow. Follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Facebook for the latest news. Keep your alley caps on and pray we nail the number 5 pick. Let's go Cards.